Hello, everyone. Welcome to season 3, episode 7 of the Third and 10 podcast presented by Billy Up Sports. I'm your host, Nathan Nguyen, joined by my guy, Brian Germanaro. We hope you guys are having an outstanding Tuesday as we're recording this live on Twitter and Twitch and all that good stuff. We got a lot to discuss today. I ain't gonna lie, Brian. I was thinking about football. I always think about football. We all do, me and you both.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, the season cannot come soon enough. I'm making a promise to myself right now. Last year, I did not enjoy football as much because of my job. I was very busy with my job on Sundays, and it kind of made it hard for me to enjoy football a lot. But I promised myself that this year, no matter what happens with my Giants, with our Giants, I should say, I am going to enjoy every single week and be thankful because I'm just super excited. Like literally,
Oh
I was
yeah.
watching TikTok. I was watching TikTok yesterday of like the caption was when you have like 20 missed assignments, but you need 30 points from your kicker in
Yes.
fantasy. And
Yes.
this Sunday night thing comes on, like I'll do. I'm just like,
I know the exact
man,
videos you're talking about. They're in my feed all the time right now.
yeah. Like we like. There's times where like I took it for granted. I'm like, man, the Giants suck. Like I ain't trying to watch any of the games, but like, dog, like football just comes and goes so fast because at one point it's gonna be the Hall of Fame game, and the next thing you know, we're in February and the season's over, and it's just like,
The Super Bowl comes. We spend so much time waiting for it, and it's over like before we know. Like we blink, and it's week 6. It's like, oh,
I
okay, we're just halfway through the year.
it's like, please slow down, like let me enjoy everything. Um, no, but for our Giants, our season kicks off on August, I believe either it's the first Saturday in August with their first preseason game.
Against the
But
Jets.
I believe so. I think it's the
It's
Jets.
either Jets or Patriots because those are always our locks, and then we always have the random team week 2.
Yes. So looking at according to okay, so I guess that's August 16th. I thought I said August 6th, so my apologies there. Um, for that one. So we do have the Jets to start, and then we have. I'm looking. Well, if they would give me the exact schedule, would be nice, but I digress. Yeah. Oh, so our first home preseason game is against the Jets. Uh, on August 16th. Then on the 21st, we have the Patriots. But who's our first matchup?
5 days in between. Wow.
I know. Talk about no breaks. Oh! Um, yeah, I can't find it. Why can't I find it? This is a great
Because Dell
start.
did the 2-season preseason before we even realized.
This is okay. Here we go. Here we go. The Bills. Okay, there we go. It's the
That's actually
Bills.
perfect. We're like all right in the same area.
Yeah, thank God I don't have to like travel too. But I think in
There
the
is no
past
travel. I mean, like Buffalo's a travel, but like not really.
it's a little
We
just
went to Houston last year. Like, come on.
that's oh my God, I remember that game. Jones played in that one. And
Yes,
then
that's when we kind of knew. Okay, Jones isn't gonna work out here.
yeah, first pass was like an interception or
Pick
incompletion,
six.
and then yeah, damn. I'm the fact that you remember that, yeah, that's PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
God, last season was terrible, but please, I know this season will not be last year. I'm telling, our team is too talented
Yes, we're too
to be
talented to
that
be
good.
a laughing stock. Just going into weeks against the Buccaneers, losing 30-0, and they're just being uncompetitive. Like, come on,
Yeah,
we're better than this now.
yeah, no, definitely for sure. Uh, But yeah, overall, we got a lot to discuss today. We have Brock Purdy getting the bag. Congrats to him. We'll talk about him and if he, not that he got paid, is he
Oh, we got
truly
paid.
the? He got paid, but is he truly the answer to help the Niners lift the Lombardi Trophy in the next 5 years or so? We'll talk about Caleb Williams as well and the drama that is surrounding him. That is surrounding him, I should say. We'll talk about the Mets, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately just because of what happened this past weekend and some
It's rough. It's rough to Mets land right now.
It
We're gonna
is.
fight a lot of people right now. It's kind of like we're fighting a war against the national media and Yankees fans, and at the same time, we're trying to keep our own people in check. It's like, no,
Yeah.
idiot, stop.
Like we're gonna be okay. It's still
We're gonna
early,
be
but
fine. It's May, guys. It's May. We didn't
it's
get good till
concerning.
June
But
last year.
exactly, that's why.
We'll get more into it. I'm gonna get more
Yeah.
so pissed off in a few minutes. We'll get into it.
And then finally, we'll have our post game segment with NBA playoff talk.
Bing
As the
bong.
conference finals are now set, the Knicks. Yeah, that's one good thing going on. In New York is the Knicks, as they are in the conference finals. We'll talk about all that, and then a scandal between a CEO of a NBA team and a current WNBA player. Very exciting stuff. So, as always, you can follow us at Third and 10 Pod on all things social media. And if you want the audio version of our podcast, no worries. You can find it on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, Mr. Purdy, the 49ers quarterback, got the bag this past weekend. What a story. You going from Mr. Irrelevant to a franchise quarterback to getting paid the money that is well deserved. Purdy agreed to a 5-year, $265 million extension with the 49ers. This includes a no trade clause, and that locks him in through the 2030 season. You would think that he was like overpaid. No, he ties Jared Goff as the 7th highest paid player in terms of annual average. $181 million in total guarantees. 100 million is fully guaranteed, and he's set to earn 165 million through the first 3 years of the extension. I was listening to the Shannon Sharp podcast, the one that he hosts with Chad Ochocinco. I'm not sure the numbers are exactly correct, but Purdy goes from 2.9 million paid throughout the first 4 years of his career to 2.9 per week, which sounds weird. Numbers wise, doesn't really make sense, but I'm just gonna just go with it because we're not gonna talk about.
I'll just trust Shannon Sharp right, Ocho.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk math right now.
Wrong.
Yeah, the point maybe that we can all agree that he goes from being paid little to paid a lot.
He goes from a rookie contract to an actual contract.
Yeah,
and a rookie contract of a 7th round pick. So that's not like the first, like we're seeing, guys like, a Duke Carter and Cam Ward going to make millions. No, he's going to make like a couple thousand.
Yeah, and good for him. He's honestly done just so well for the 49ers to start his career. Last year was a bit of a struggle, and we'll get to that as well. But Purdy, 23-13 as a starter, 2 playoff appearances in 22 and 23. You could argue that he would have led the Niners to the Super Bowl in that first year had not be that injury that he suffered against the Eagles. But I digress. In 24 last year, he did struggle a little bit, right? Went 6 for 9, threw for over 3,800 yards, had 20 touchdowns, 12 picks. But he did have a QBR of 67.9, which is still good for top 10. But the question that I want to discuss is that you got paid. That's great. But is he really the answer for the 49ers? And I'm not saying like they should have went and go get a different quarterback, but rather, is he really gonna help them? No. How do I say this? It's like, is he
the franchise guy, or is his stats more indicative of a very a system that helps quarterbacks a lot and a very talented roster? Is he just
simply put, can he help the Niners win Lombardi? Because yes, he led them there, but he lost.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you, no matter how you put it, he lost.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like, and the reason why I bring that question, it seems so simple. Like, what do you mean if he can be the guy that can help the Niners win the Super Bowl? Like, of course he can. Like, he led him like before. Yeah. But it's hard to make it back. And the thing is for the Niners is that, look, for a 7th rounder, he's done well for himself, right?
Oh, yeah.
In 22, right? He came in for Jimmy G, led him to the conference championship, which is unheard of for a Mr. Irrelevant guy. In 23, he went 12-4, over the 4,000 yards, all that good stuff. Made the Pro Bowl, was fourth in MVP voting, and the money they paid him was like, okay, dude, we have paid you because we feel like you can do this again for us. But you just mentioned the core around him that he had in 23 is very different from what he's going to get starting this season and beyond. Because not only are they getting older, but one piece is gone already in Deebo Samuel. He's with the Commanders now, which is weird.
I'm sorry, he's not the only one going. There's going to be a few more pieces on the way out here and there.
Oh yeah, because the Niners lost a lot of people this offseason, I should say. They brought in a lot of rookies. I think they lost about 16 plus guys to free agency. Mostly on defense, but still,
the defense can make up for if Purdy has a shortcoming here and there. Now, if Purdy has a bad turnover or something, the defense is inexperienced and can't, might not be able to overcome that mistake. So Purdy's mistakes might be more amplified now because they lead to the other team scoring or the other team going on a long drive that, takes away, Purdy's time to drive down the field.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, we haven't really seen a season where it's like
a Mahomes season or a Josh Allen season where like he does more with less, right?
Yes.
Purdy, we watch guys like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, and they're the best in the league because the guys around them, they make better. We talked about all offseason about Josh Allen, how his receiving room was weekend. Well, what'd he do? He went on, had an MVP season. He turned, Shakir into a, legitimate, top receiving target in an offense. Patrick Mahomes lost Rashid Rice, had a Travis Kelce who was clearly on decline, almost won them another Super Bowl, the third in a row. That's what we're talking about. Can Brock Purdy do that? Can he turn a less than ideal situation into good situations? And Purdy hasn't done that for me yet. So I don't know if he's a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, I'm very questionable on that as well.
This is his first field test because McCaffrey's older.
Yes.
George Kittle's 31. He's getting over. Kyle Kazuka is, getting older. Ayuk is older. Debo's gone. He's going to have to, McCaffrey's not going to be the running back he was a couple years ago. We're going to start seeing, the decline, especially with the injury history he has had. Same thing with George Kittle. He's been banged up. That style of play is going to decrease. He's not going to be as physical as he once was. So can Brock Purdy elevate his game to overcome those shortcomings? I don't know. We haven't seen that from him yet. And, you can make the real argument that, yes, Purdy is probably better than the 7th round pick, but how much is it his actual talent? And how much was it him being in a really, really good roster and really good players elevating him to be better than he actually was?
Mm-hmm. Because when you have a plethora of weapons, that can help elevate an average guy from looking average to look really, really good than what he should or what he actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And there hasn't been evidence where it's like he can actually lead a team on his own if things break down around him.
It's a similar conversation to what's going on with Tua. We don't know how good Tua really is if you take away Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Granted, Purdy has had more success than Tua has, and I don't think it's not a one-for-one comparison, but it's a similar conversation of, well, how much is it on the quarterback and how much is it that the quarterback is in a great situation?
Mm-hmm. And we're not saying it's bad that he's always played with a plethora of guys.
That's great.
That's great. You're a lucky duck. You can play with when you start your career, right? You play with Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, CMC. You arguably have the best left tackle in Trent Williams. But then we saw last year, so that's how you play when your guys get hurt.
He dropped 11 less touchdowns. I think his QBR dropped 5 points. He threw for I want to say he didn't throw for 1,000 less yards. He threw for
less around 200-ish less yards.
400 yards less. It looks like because they have
Yeah.
4,200 to 3,800 this year. So like a
Yeah.
400-ish yard drop. So like one game.
Yeah, but garbage time yards, like the touchdowns went down significantly. They go
That's
from
my
like
concern.
30, 20.
11 touchdown drop.
Yeah,
Like
that is a
11's a big
decent.
number.
That's a decent drop. To start last year, he went 3-4, had about 1,800 yards. That's when he had Ayuk, Debo, Williams, and Kittle, but no CMC. But then when Ayuk was out, Debo was still subpar. Williams was out after week 10, and CMC did come back for 4 games towards the second half of the season. But then he got hurt again and was out for the rest of the year. He went 3-5 in that second half of the year. 2,000 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 5 picks. So it's just not the numbers. They were just so last year throughout. So it's to the point where I'm like, great that he got paid, but it's like, does everything have to be perfect around him?
It's one of those things where like, and they had to pay him because he doesn't have the 5th-year option. He was a free agent at the end of this season, but you almost wish you could give him like a bridge contract, like a 2-year deal with a high, annual value that you can get out of if Purdy, does continue to drop and he's not your franchise guy.
Yeah, because they fully committed. Like they
said,
no
now
trade
you have
clause,
to make
no
work.
out. Like Joe Shane doing the 2-year out thing on Daniel Jones. Thank God.
Genius.
Thank God. Whew. But Purdy, they said, nah, we're going to give you the whole bag and we're going to trust you till 2030 and screw it. We hope
and Purdy's a much better quarterback than Daniel Jones. Do not get us wrong. Regardless of the whole conversation, Brock Purdy is still a good quarterback. It's just, is he a great quarterback that deserves this kind of contract? Or is he more of a guy like a Kirk Cousins-esque, more of a game manager, kind of you could get away with paying him less?
Yeah. We've seen most of the time great games with him. Like there's been games where he's gone off, but there's games like I think it was last year, the year before, where it was like 0 touchdowns, 3 picks against Minnesota. It was a winnable game. Everyone was healthy around him, but he threw like 3 picks. And he looked awful. And there's games where he's had those type of performances. I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like everything really needs to be perfect around you, like to succeed. Like I don't know, and he was a 7th round pick for a reason. And I'm it's great that he's had success. I love it.
It's a great story. It's a great story. It adds the element to Mr. Irrelevant, because before that, it was, kind of like, oh, it's more Mr. Irrelevant was more of a joke. Now you actually have a real shot of doing something because of what Purdy did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was asking one of my 49er friends, shout out to him, and I asked him, I was like, Purdy got paid, so congrats to your team and anything like that. But I asked him, like, do you think he's a guy that can then hoist Lombardi? And he told me it all depends on the start of the season. And that's when it's like we're going to see a lot of overreaction like we always do, right? And he told me it's like if he has a good start to the season, then the money that he was paid, valid. But if he starts off rough, that's when it's like the whole maybe paying you that much and committing to you for the next few years is going to be a bit of a question mark.
Yeah.
And I agree with that, because it's like not only does the media overreact to like, oh my God, like if Purdy starts off like 0-4 and like has like 4 bad games, it's like, oh my God, we overpaid for this 7th round guy. There's a reason why he was so, he was a 7th round pick and like we should have maybe extended him maybe next year or whatever. But they had to lock him up now, and that's the thing. And that's the one thing about paying guys, is that there's going to be a time where you have to pay them before they start causing drama. Like we saw that last year with Brandon Ayuk and the Niners. Like, oh my God, they didn't pay him until what? Maybe July?
Yeah, it was late.
It took a long time. It was late summer. Oh, they took a long time. But overall, with Purdy, look, once the contract extension kicks in, and this is the last point I'll make on my part, the roster may look completely different, because like we mentioned, Debo already gone. Kittle could be out by 27 according to this contract. He has a potential out, or the team has a potential out on him for 27. CMC's 30. and the injuries took their toll last year with the guys, like CMC and Williams and whatnot. And Ayuk is, who knows if he can remain healthy, especially what happened last year. And we don't know about the uncertainty at wide receiver because you have Ayuk, but can Jawan Jennings, can Ricky Pearsall, can the guys behind Ayuk really step in and contribute in a big way? We don't know. We saw glimpses of it with Jawan, and we saw Pearsall sort of ball out towards towards the end of the season. But
is that just a good stretch, or is that, can you do that over a full 17 games?
Yes, he needs to be consistent.
Because they're going to lock that passing game next year. It's going to be on those guys to step up. They're going to lock up Ayuk, and they're going to lock up Kittle. And once those two are gone, it's good. We're going to have to see if Pearsall or Jennings can be that wide receiver too, or if Purdy can elevate their game.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. That's the one thing that I want to see from Purdy this year is that can he elevate the guys around him instead of the guys around him elevating Purdy. So yeah, overall, congrats to him. Great that he got paid. Well deserved. Wasn't a humongous overpay. Like I mentioned, tied for 7th with Jared Goff, the Detroit Lions quarterback, in terms of highest paid in regards to annual average. But the big question is, can he really help the Niners win Lombardi and help the guys around him and raise their game, like you mentioned, instead of them raising it for him, like you've seen during the first 2 years of his career, and then some of last year. But then again, he didn't struggle a lot last year. So
no. But last year was a lost year for the Niners to begin with. So you can kind of write off last year, but with how open the NFC West is and we talked about it last week, how the Niners are in a good position to go worst to first. This is Purdy's testing ground. You can win this division regardless of what happened last year. At the end of the season, if the Niners struggle again, this conversation becomes a lot louder.
And I'll go back to what my friend said about Purdy getting off to a good start. It is important that he does, because the Niners still have the easiest schedule. Or they have I think they have a top 5 easy schedule in terms of in accordance to strength of schedule. They have like the top 5 easiest ones this year. So if he does struggle, that's gonna raise some red flags. And it's like, maybe you shouldn't have deserved that bag that you were paid. And that, so we'll see. We'll have to see. But look, there's quarterbacks and players that get paid and their game remains the same. But there's other guys who get paid and they look like crap. That very first year that they get paid, he looks like crap. So we'll see where Purdy lies once once the 2025 season starts up in September. So all right, we go from one starting quarterback to another starting quarterback, but this is more drama filled than Purdy. As we go from Purdy to Caleb Williams. So let's get this mess out the way. For those of you who don't know, Seth Wickersham of ESPN wrote a book actually on Caleb Williams and the situation that went on during the pre-draft process.
The fact you can write a book is a bad sign to begin with.
He was
right. This 100% started out as an article, and he kept writing it and goes, "I got enough here for a book."
Yeah,
I was going for the book.
It was a mess. When I read it, the articles and everything, I was just like, Chicago's in deep crap. So for those of you who don't know, Caleb Williams originally wanted to avoid getting drafted by the Chicago Bears. He actually wanted to go to Minnesota after he connected with Kevin O'Connell, who's the current head coach for the Vikings. I don't blame him, because Kevin O'Connell is a quarterback whisperer. I mean, he turned around Sam Darnold. Like, that's impressive. And he might, be a guy who can turn around JJ McCarthy.
Speaking as a guy who hated JJ McCarthy in the draft process, and there is video evidence on this show. You can go back to when it was still called like the backup or the G-Man corner, talk about how JJ McCarthy's not going to be a good NFL quarterback. I was saying it. I'm excited to see what O'Connell can do with him this upcoming year.
Oh yeah, me too. Because he can. It's just what
if
he
anyone
does.
can fix him, it's him.
The quarterback whisperer. That's what we like to call him. So he did. Yeah, I don't blame Williams for wanting to go to Minnesota. But the Bears GM was like, Ryan Poles, that's his name. He was like, we're picking you no matter what. So you basically got to deal with it. But then Caleb was like, he was kind of deterred by the coaching staff as a whole. And he said, quote, he wasn't sure if he could do it with Waldron. Shane Waldron is what he's referencing, or who he's referencing, I should say. He was the former offensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears. And his father and William, valid concern. Waldron is pretty trash. But yeah, and then Williams' father was also in the picture. So both him and his father were considering attacking the city, actually, to prevent him from getting drafted by the Bears. But Williams was like, he was concerned that if they were to do that, it would make it harder for them to trade him later on. And
it hurts his draft stock too.
It'll make it tough for him to get traded.
Because it's kind of the Shedeur situation we had this year. It would be the same thing, only a much more talented quarterback. But it would be like, well, this is a guy that didn't want to go to Chicago, so he threw a temper tantrum to get himself out. Is that really the guy we want headlining our franchise?
And for those of you who are like, oh, well, what about Eli? Okay, it's a little different. Okay, like this is different from Eli. Like this was a more.
Eli didn't track because you said attack the city. That means they're gonna go like say a bunch of stuff to like piss off fans, make the organization upset. Eli never attacked San Diego. He just said,
didn't want to go there.
I don't want to play for you. If Caleb would have said, I don't want to play for the Bears, it would have been the same conversation if Eli and John Elway. But the word attack is different. That means they were going to go and intentionally tank the stock.
Yeah. Because probably people are like, oh, well, Eli Manning didn't want to go to the Chargers and he caused drama. Like, we're not talking about that. Yeah, but like you mentioned, Eli never was like,
the drama was more media.
Like, F the Chargers. Yeah, it was more media based. Like, media caused more of the drama and everything compared to Eli, who was just so quiet and
Caleb
reserved.
Would be the drama starter here.
Yeah. And when Eli was drafted, he was trying to just keep calm. He was just like, yeah, I'm excited to play for the Chargers and whatever and all that stuff. And then
he might have said it, but like the look on his face is it's one of the best draft photos of all time. It's Eli looking like he just, pooped his pants when he's holding a Chargers jersey.
I miss Eli and it's just like his reactions, because you honestly can look at him and
he's gonna react to anything.
Exactly. Like you just never know if the team's winning by 20 or down by 20. He's just like
that kind of it's the one thing that always drove me insane with Eli. It's like, can you show me a little emotion? Show me you're just a little upset you threw an interception.
Yeah. And that no reaction son of a gun led us to 2 Super Bowls.
I know. It's always like I like Eli, but I'm always like, I wish Eli just had a little emotion to him. I wish he would just smash his helmet on the side. Just smash your helmet on your sideliner once. I just need to see you care.
Just a little bit at least.
Like, I know he cares, but like, I'm already upset you threw an interception. It's making me more mad when you have the same expression on your face as if you just threw the game-winning touchdown pass.
Cool, calm, collected, and reserved. That's what I would describe the former Giants franchise quarterback. But with going back to Williams though, his father said, "quote Chicago is it where quarterbacks go to die."
He's right.
He ain't wrong about that one. There were times where Williams would watch film alone, apparently, according to Wickersham, with no instruction or guidance from the coaches. Caleb would say, quote, "No one tells me what to watch. I just turn it on." And that's, for those of you who want to read the full article, go to ESPN.com and all that stuff. Those are just a few key points I wanted to bring up because look, yes, when you read the article or you hear about this, you're like, oh, so yeah, the book. It's like, oh, Caleb Williams is a drama queen and da 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 da, and I'm like, he's not wrong. I mean, his father ain't wrong either. I don't blame him for not wanting to go to Chicago. Like, sure, he accepted it.
Yeah.
The fact because he had a pre-draft meeting like all prospects do. And then after the pre-draft meeting, he was like, "Yeah, in Chicago, sure. Like, I don't mind.
How bad can it really be?
I
want to go here. We got to make the best of the situation. We're not getting Eli Manning situation.
Yeah, but his dad isn't wrong. Like, quarterbacks the quarterbacks do come to Chicago to die.
Before it produced a 4,000-yard quarterback.
It's been some time since Chicago had success at the quarterback position. I mean,
never. Okay, they've never had. Jay Cutler is the best quarterback in Bears history.
Yeah. No, yeah, pretty much. I mean, what's it called? Mitchell Trubisky was the number 2 overall pick, but then
what'd he do? He didn't do anything. One playoff game?
2, but
2?
If you want to get specific.
2. Didn't Jay Cutler lead him to an NFC Championship game?
Yes.
I think so. I think Super Bowl 40.
He led him farther.
I think 45. I think Super Bowl 45 when the Packers won. I think that conference championship game was against the Bears.
Yes. He never advanced past the NFC Championship. He did suffer a MCL sprain in 2010 that would have impacted he lost to the Packers in 2010 in the conference championship. So Bears fans, it's been some time. So Jay Cutler has literally been the best quarterback they've had. But yeah, I mean, recent memory, right? Mitchell Trubisky, number 2 overall pick. He was kind of just average, kind of overshadowed by the guys taken after him in that draft. Mahomes being the biggest example in that draft, the year that he was drafted, overshadowing him. He had Justin Fields, who was also a first-round pick, but they gave up on him quite fast. After what, maybe?
I mean, in Justin Fields' case, they had a chance at Caleb Williams. So it's kind of like Fields hasn't really shown anything, and Caleb Williams looks great, so let's just go get Williams.
Yeah.
If they don't make the trade with the Panthers, they don't have Caleb Williams, and I bet you Justin Fields, we're already on to the next quarterback, or Justin Fields at least gets one more year in Chicago.
Yeah, but it's just like, it was messed up, actually, with Fields in that last year. Mm-hmm. He had no weapons. I think he had one. No, he had DJ Moore, right? In this last year.
Yes, because DJ Moore was just traded.
Yeah, but like, okay, that was one good receiver. O-line was trash. And all of a sudden, when they get Caleb Williams, they added Odunze, and they added pieces around the offense.
Allen was the big trade.
Yeah, they added all these offensive pieces, and Fields probably like, man, y'all couldn't do this for me, but you did for Caleb.
Yeah, Loveland coming in this year.
Yeah, like they did all this, but they never did that for Fields when he was there. So yeah, Trubisky, Fields, two examples of quarterbacks that came to Chicago, had little to no success, and then just flamed out, and they're either on a different team or they're back up somewhere else and all that stuff. So it's Chicago. If you come to Chicago to play quarterback, you are going to have little to no success unless you're Jay Cutler. Maybe Caleb Williams will change that. We don't know.
Yeah. If anyone do, it's him, because I think him and Ben Johnson's offense is going to be great.
Yes, and we'll get to Ben Johnson because he's a key point to this whole argument. And let's be honest. Last year, the average NFL fan has no idea, and probably still has no idea, who in the world Shane Waldron or Matt Eberflus is. Matt Eberflus was the former head coach for the Bears.
No, everyone knows who Matt Eberflus is because of Thanksgiving.
Oh, right. Oh my God, that was terrible. Holy cow.
Right, yeah, that's why.
They had 3 timeouts, didn't they?
They at least had 2. They at least had 2.
That was holy crap when I watched that live.
That was that's like when you're playing like a little kid in Madden and they have no idea how clock management works. So you're just hit this button, buddy. What button?
The big button right here.
You take it and you do it for them.
Like, dude, the timeout button is the.
It's like come on, like I know you're learning, but you gotta know clock management, bro.
And you gotta know what the
you're
timeout
going to
button
school
is.
In 2 years. This is about to come your life.
Football is your life. Learn it. No, but yeah. But Matt Eberflus was such a bad head coach. He was terrible.
It was bad for the moment they hired him because they hired a defensive-minded coach with a young quarterback and didn't bring in like an offensive guru next to him.
He wanted Justin Fields to run less.
Yeah.
That's like saying, "Oh, you're good at talking sports. You should You should go do a podcast on cooking." But that's you're taking away his strength.
Yes.
And force him to do something else. Like, sure, he's a quarterback. He's supposed to throw the ball. We know Fields can throw, but what makes him different from other quarterbacks and helps him have success is running the football. Mm-hmm. That's why they call these guys dual threat quarterbacks, because they can throw it and they can run it. Don't know why you want Fields to run less, but whatever. And the film that we saw shows the staff just sucked in developing Fields.
Oh, yeah.
They were terrible. And that's why they were fired, like, I think midway through the year last year, I believe, both of them.
They were fired after Thanksgiving because it was so bad.
Yes.
First time in Bears history.
Yeah, that's when you know things were pretty much crap. So Ben Johnson, great coordinator from the Lions, the team's fifth head coach since the firing of Lovie Smith in 2013. Great. Ben Johnson, everyone loves Ben Johnson. He was an OC for the Lions last year. Everyone's singing his praises and yada, yada, yada. Here's the truth. The Bears have not finished above 500 since 2018 when they went 12-4 with Mitchell Trubisky, which I still have no idea how they did it.
An elite defense. Elite defense.
Led by Khalil
Mack. Like 85 years level defense.
Yeah, because I'm going to say the offense was not that great in 2018, but I digress. Since 2018, they've gone 6-11, 3-14, 7-10, and 5-12. So even before that 2018 season, they were as bad as well. So just want to let you guys know. In terms of the past 4 years or so, the team has been below league average in most to all offensive categories. So the offense sucks. Which concludes, or I want to conclude my point about all of this is that sure, the drama is all on Caleb Williams, and you probably think like, oh, Caleb Williams, he better succeed or else like, he's a bust or whatever. I don't think it's on Williams at all. Like, this is on Ben Johnson. Like, first off, it's hard for a quarterback to have success when you have to learn 3 different offenses. Yeah, because this is going to be his 3rd offense in 2 years.
Yeah.
He's approaching, because this is going to be his 2nd season, and he's already learned 2 different offensive systems, and now you're going to learn another one. The pressure's on Ben Johnson. Like, he has a huge responsibility. Like, sure, he came from the Lions where he had one of the best offenses in the NFL. That was great. And then we've seen Williams, we heard that Williams was literally screaming when he got the call that Johnson was hired. But we've seen on multiple occasions where offensive coordinators are like, they go from OCs to head coaches, or just coordinators as a whole, actually, who go from coordinators to head coaches, and we don't see them always work out. Examples, Josh McDaniels, right? He was a great OC, sucked as a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Cliff Kingsbury, great OC, sucked as a head coach. If Ben Johnson can't turn it around, with the frustration that we saw from Williams and his father before the draft, that's going to come back up again, and it might get worse for him and Chicago as a whole. And then you have the obvious thing where it's like, Johnson didn't pick Williams.
No. This is an arranged marriage.
This is And
this is Daboll and Jones. This is Joe Judge and Jones.
That territory. Because it's important that when you have a new head coach, that they get their guy. And finally, for the first time, Brian Daboll for our Giants got his guy in Jackson Dart. Thank God.
Yeah.
But we've seen it in recent memory, and we've seen it this year, and we've seen it in the past where former coordinators turn head coaches get their guy and they have success. We saw Matt LaFleur in 2019 when he was hired, right? didn't have his guy. But in 2020, he finally got his guy in Jordan Love, and he's his franchise quarterback now. We saw in 2019 when Zach Taylor got hired by the Bengals, and he got his guy in Joe Burrow in 2020. And look where they're at now. They made a Super Bowl. They've had multiple winning seasons. They've had success. Brian Callahan for the Titans last year was hired, had to deal with Will Levis's trash mayonnaise self, and he finally got his guy in Cam Ward this season. And
how do you even start doing that? Is what I want to know. Like what?
I don't know.
What made him go? I'm going to put mayonnaise in coffee.
He's weird. That's almost. He's weird. He's a weird filler. So it's
important. You gotta get pride.
Yay! So it's important when you're a new head coach to get your guy, and Ben Johnson doesn't have that luxury, but he does, he does have the number 1 overall pick, so maybe that makes up for it a little bit in Caleb Williams to have a former number 1 pick in him. But can he be the true problem solver for Chicago and be the right guy to develop Williams, who wasn't his choice of quarterback? We'll have to see. But to me, the Williams job makes sense. Chicago has been a mess for some time, and for a number 1 pick who's a former Heisman winner, this is not where you're used to being around. So if you're the Bears, you better hope Ben Johnson is the answer, because otherwise, all the talk about Williams not wanting to come to Chicago, all the stuff that his father has said, all the uncertainty that Williams had about coming here in the first place, and all that stuff, it's gonna get louder and louder and worse. And
for people out there saying that maybe the quotes are taken out of context and stuff, and maybe they are, maybe they were misquoted, maybe it's not true. You also got to think back to Caleb Williams demanding ownership in the team. He wanted a 5-cent stake in the team. He wanted this, he wanted that. He was demanding a lot of stuff during his pre-draft process. So if these rumors are true, they're not surprising. You shouldn't be surprised if this is the case.
Mm-hmm. Because when you're a prospect, you want the best for yourself. And I get it. When you're drafted in the first round, it's a great honor and everything. But at least when you get drafted to a bad team, maybe like the Bears or maybe the Titans, like this, for example, in terms of this year, you at least have to have some sort of thing that you could hold on to. For example, with Tennessee, it's okay, if I'm Cam Ward, I'm thinking to myself, Titans got some guys. They have a good defense led by Jeffrey Simmons, right? They have Brian Callahan, who was a offensive guru with Joe Burrow. Tony Pollard, Calvin Ridley. The supporting cast around me is great. Sure, the Titans are the number 1 pick, but at least I get to go to a team with no drama, pretty decent supporting cast, and they're gonna help me. They're gonna help me by tailoring the offense to what I was used to in Miami. Very different from Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm.
He went into Chicago and watched film by himself.
Yeah, that's weird.
Never heard of that in my life. Never heard about my life.
I've heard guys they've been given a tablet and have to watch films by themselves, but that's different.
Yeah, we're talking Williams watching film literally by himself, not with the team like all quarterbacks do. That's weird in the first place to not watch film with your teammates and stuff, or the coaches never gave you guidance or whatever.
Yeah.
That's kind of and if you're having issues with the coaching staff before you even get there, that just speaks volumes to how bad Chicago is. Because Waldron and Eberflus were terrible. No one knew who they were. The average fan doesn't know who they are, to be exact. Because they're just that bad. They're not big name coaches. They were former coordinators that were just crap. So, look, Ben Johnson, you better have success. You better hope Chicago made the right decision getting you, because otherwise you're just going to be another piece of the story of Williams wanting to get out of here, because if you have the same, if him leading Chicago ends up being the same result of what happened when Eberflus was here, it's gonna be all bad in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
And Johnson may not last long here, and Williams is definitely gonna be gone. No doubt about it. So, alrighty. Damn, I hate to keep being negative, I guess, about this, because we've obviously dived into some negatives with Purdy, and we dived into some negatives with Caleb Williams and the Chicago situation. We're kind of continuing on the negative train here, my friend, as we go from the gridiron to the baseball field. We're talking about
diamond.
the New York Mets. Yeah, dude, I didn't want to talk about it.
It was a rough weekend in the Bronx. All right,
I didn't want to talk about it.
It wasn't fun.
So, welcome to Flush and Faithful. That Brian primarily takes over and talks about his Mets. So we're gonna move Brian to the top here because I want to see.
Hang around
I'll hang around you because usually, for those of you who don't know, when Brian hosts the Flushing Faithful segment, I kind of just disappear and let him do his thing. But I kind of want to. I want to.
No, I would like your input as a non-biased observer. Like you are out. I'm in the weeds, in the trenches. In this, you are.
Do you know how bad it would be if I was a Yankees fan? Oh my god!
I don't think we could do the show right now.
I don't know. I don't think we could. But thank God I'm an A's fan. So yeah. But what happened this weekend, my friend? It was a rough series, but
rough series. Rough series in the Bronx. We've lost 4 of our last 5. Gone 500 the past 2 weeks. Lost 2 or 3 to the New York Yankees, which it sucks to lose series. It's always a little extra sting when it's the Yankees, our crosstown rivals. A lot of us have Yankee friends, family members that are going to be, talking all this trash to us that we just don't want to deal with. And the fact that it was so heightened with the return of Juan Soto. And we'll get into all the Juan Soto drama in just a moment. Just let me do the team first, and then we'll get into Juan Soto. But yeah, tough stretch right now. Guys like Soto, Alonso, Lindor have gone ice cold. But as much as it stinks that we're on a cold streak right now, it happens. Baseball is a game of peaks and valleys. Mets are in a valley right now, all right? There's 114 games left in this season, all right? The Mets didn't get good last year until June, okay? Jorge Lopez, if we are a year ago, Jorge Lopez still hasn't thrown his glove into the stands yet. We saw that at that moment of the 2024 Mets, calendar-wise. So the fact that the 2025 Mets are a half game down of first place, I think we're fine, all right? The biggest problem this team has is their inability to hit with runs in scoring position. That's the big problem. But if you look at the numbers, it's a lot of unluckiness, a low strikeout rate. I think they have hard hit percentage is 10th in the league in those situations, which is actually higher than the Cubs, which has the best offense in the league. So water will find its level, okay? The Mets will start hitting with runs in scoring position. They will get hot again. They will rattle off 5 to 6 wins here in a couple weeks. You just have to kind of weather the storm right now. And once we get to June, July, once we go, address the bullpen, maybe we'll get another bat. The Mets are fine. Now let's get into what everybody wants to talk about, and that's Juan Soto, all right? So, like we said, Juan Soto's big anticipated return to the Bronx this weekend was interesting. I think we all thought Juan Soto was going to get booed, but the level of pettiness we saw from Yankee fans, and this isn't just me being a biased Mets fan. This is Yankee fans saying it. These are Mets fans, just MLB fans in general. The only people who thought what the Yankee fans did on this weekend was cool were Yankee fans. That's it. Talk to anyone. The turning of the back of Juan Soto in right field, they all thought that was pretty weird and kind of corny. And the fact that all those people are turning around oh my God, is he paying attention to us? Is he noticing us? You guys look like losers. You look like losers out there. And then you have the boos, which, shout out to Kate for Baseball for Baddies. Great follow on TikTok, Instagram. Go do that. She's a Yankee fan. She was there Saturday, Sunday. She goes, I've been in the building for Yankees Astros ALCS after the Astros cheated, they booed Jose Altuve less than they booed Juan Soto, which is insane. All right, the Yankees were, by all intents and purposes, I don't want to say they were robbed in 2017, but you can make that argument with the cheating scandal and stuff. They should, hate Altuve, boo him relentlessly. They booed a 1-year rental in Juan Soto way more than they booed a guy who actively hurt their chances of making a World Series. That makes no sense. Daniel Vogelbach played more games for the Mets than Juan Soto did for the New York Yankees. That's all you need to know about how absurd the level of pettiness for Yankee fans is. So all this is it asserts the fact that the Yankee fan is the spoiled rich kid who's never been told no, and they always thought they get the big guy. And the fact that Soto finally told them no kind of struck a nerve with them, and they can't handle it. So that's not all Yankee fans. I want to say that. I've seen a ton of Yankee fans. Our guy Eric Katz even said he doesn't care about Soto anymore. It's not all Yankee fans, but that group of Yankee fans that still care, time to grow up. Now let's talk about the media circus, which kind of plays into what Yankee fans did and how the media wanted Soto to be a Yankee, to be, to create the next, Mantle and Maris with Judge, Garrick, Ruth, DiMaggio, Mantle. They wanted that next with Judge and Soto. And they didn't get it. But, so let's just do a timeline. On Sunday Night Baseball, Juan Soto is supposed to be mic'd up. That's where this whole thing started. That's where this media circus started. Juan Soto's supposed to be mic'd up. And then around 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, Buster Olney tweets out how he can't wait to ask Juan Soto about Aaron Judge, which is bad journalism from the start. Like, Juan Soto signed the richest contract in North American sports, is on a first-place baseball team at the time, is, doing this, doing that. The question should be, and in these sort of like in-game interviews, the softball questions. Like, they're like, how's your season going? It's kind of like a fun interview. I understand, like, if Aaron Judge was at bat and like, oh my God, like, how crazy is it that Aaron Judge is having the season he is? Yeah, it's crazy. That's one thing. That's like, oh, it kind of happened in the moment. It's saying a baseball player can't. Let's see what the baseball player's opinion of how Judge is playing. That's one thing. If it happens naturally, I understand asking it. But the fact that no matter what, they were going to talk about Judge and the Yankees, that's kind of weird. That's weird for how much stories is going on about Soto right now. And Soto didn't want to talk about it. Soto's like, I don't want to talk about the Yankees. I don't want to keep talking about this old team. I don't want to have to keep defending the fact of why I chose the Mets. I'm not doing it, which all account perfectly reasonable. Don't want to keep. It's basically like, you're going to your wedding, and during the best man speech, you're getting grilled about questions about your ex-girlfriend. It's like, I want to talk about like my wife that I'm just marrying. Like, why are we all hung up on this girl? Why? But so that happens. And then I don't think ESPN liked it because we had Carl Ravitch lied about how Soto takes private jets and doesn't travel with the team, which is a major lie. He kind of skipped out on the media availability after the game, which I kind of understand because, listen, Juan Soto can say all he wants how the boos didn't affect him. The way he got booed, and if it's worse than how Altuve got booed, and for 3 straight days, and he was definitely being heckled out in right field that entire series. I mean, I think on Friday night, they showed a flash, and during a pitching change, several security guards ran out in between the Beecher creatures and Soto. So I don't want to draw conclusions. I didn't see anything, but the fact that big of a security presence is running out there means that either something got thrown or there were threats of something being thrown at Soto, which, listen, all that hostile environment, Soto's human. It definitely got to him. It definitely got into his head. It struggled at the plate. That all got to him. So we can kind of see why, hey, I just want to leave. I don't want to deal with media right now. I'll talk about it, but this is a rough weekend for me. I just want to go see my family and move on. Perfectly reasonable. But that offends the egos of several journalists. specifically Bob Klepish, who works for NJ.com, and Michael Kay. So they start spreading their false narratives. Michael Kay says that Soto only went to the Mets because of his family, which is there is no evidence. Yes, Juan Soto said his family was a big part of his decision, but if Juan Soto didn't like the Mets offer and his family did, you don't think he'd sit his family down and tell him, hey, I know you like the Mets, but I don't? Like, you don't think that would be part of the conversation? You really think his mom and family forced him to sign with the Mets? Yeah, get out of here with that. This is just Michael Kay, who runs a sports radio show that nobody listens to in New York anymore. That's not me saying it. Go look at the ratings, all right? The only time anyone's ever listened to the Michael Kay show was when WFAN was running horrific three team of Maggie Gray, Bart Starr, and Chris Carlin. No one listened to that show. And then Mike Francesa, who was well past his prime and didn't know what he was talking about. That's the only time Michael Kay has had anyone listen to his show. When WFAN puts on actual, listenable radio hosts like Evan Roberts, Craig Carton, and Tiki Barber's actually did a lot better in his role than I thought he would. He's done pretty well. They clown him. They clown him in the ratings. So this is just Michael Kay trying to, he's also salty because he's the Yankee play-by-play host. He definitely wanted Soto to be a Yankee. He's salty. And then we have Bob Klepish write one of the worst articles in journalism history. And that's just not me saying it. I have seen several people be like, I studied journalism. This is the most biased piece of article I've ever written. I emailed some professors of mine. They said, yeah, no, this definitely has bias to it. In the article, he straight up calls Soto fat. He calls Soto fat in the article, which is not true. It just shows how, much he's fallen. And this is all it is. This whole situation, this whole narrative around Juan Soto, not being happy with the Mets, not doing this, wishing he was a Yankee. It's the oldest trick in the book. It's called Mets for clicks, all right? They know, the New York national media, the New York media knows, if you spin headlines that make the Mets kind of look like clown organizations, Yankee fans are going to click to make fun of us, and the doomer Mets fans who exist, like Frank the Tank, are going to pick up with it and run with it. All these guys have, like, anonymous sources. They all say, like, all these sources are within the Mets hierarchy. Then why haven't any of the Mets beat writers come out and talk about it, who should have way more sources than these Yankee guys do? So this whole thing is Mets for clicks. The Mets are good right now, so there's not a lot of there's no joke going on right now, so they have to create their own narrative. That's where this is coming from. So all this talk about Soto, if you actually believe Soto's unhappy with the Mets after 2 months, you don't know baseball. I'm sorry. You don't know what you're talking about, and you're biased.
It's still early. It's still very.
We're in
year. Signed up, yeah.
We're a month to a 15-year contract.
It's a long marriage. Like, you're gonna have your rough patches. I don't want to. I saw an article. I was looking at it just get some extra information about like bat speed and all that stuff.
His bat speed is down. It is down. Yeah. I will give him that.
Yeah, and I'm not going to use that as an argument against it. I just want to know, is he going to be okay? Because like I think you mentioned about the whole the situation he had with the Yankees, and we saw what happened yesterday. So we're recording this on May 20th, and the
non-hustle stuff is what you're alluding
the non-hustle on because he was like admiring a single that looked like a dinger to me, by the way. Yeah, but it was a single.
That's off the Green Monster. Off the bat, I knew that was a single.
Oh, yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I saw that. I was like, oh, shoot, that's a...
Well, no, I'm like, oh, that might get out. But when I saw it bounce off the wall, I'm like, he's going to be on first.
Yeah. But yeah, I just... Is he going to be okay? Like, there's times where, like, we've seen him on camera. And, of course, like, we don't get to see him on camera all the time. But on camera, when we do see him, he doesn't look that happy. There's times where he does look unhappy. Right? So... Is he going to be okay? Like, is he going to bounce back from there? Okay.
He's fine. Right, let me tell you why. So, let me get you the hustle stuff. If you're mad at Juan Soto for not hustling, that is a very valid argument. I will give you that. The play on Sunday, I will admit it was weird. He kind of like check swinged at it. Like, I thought maybe the moment he thought he bounced off his foot or something. you got to hustle that out. I'm sorry. Same thing with the Green Monster. At least make the turn and look like you might go second.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that no one talks about on that single. He stole second on the very next pitch.
Yeah, so he made up for it.
Exactly. He made up for it. So, and Mendoza's already talked about, hey, I'm going to talk with him. Look, this is why we have a guy like Mendoza. Mendoza's a very personable manager. They both speak Spanish, so that helps. They're both going to talk in a native language, so it's not going to get lost in translation. They can just talk it out. I think this is going to be a very easy meeting between the two of them. I don't really expect anything bad to come out of this. I think what we're watching with Juan Soto is his adjustment to the Mets, all right? Now, he played in Yankee Stadium last year, which is, synonymous with the short porch. 314 to right field, the short porch. We saw Cody Bellinger's grand slam in the 8th inning was only a home run in 4 ballparks, and 2 of the ballparks were Yankee Stadium and George Steinbrenner Field, both Yankee parks. So, tell me what you want there.
Oh, and Sutter Health Park.
And Sutter Health Park, another minor league park. But Soto had to, when he was at the Yankees, he probably developed more of a pull because I want to pull the ball to right field. I'll hit more home runs like that. Now he's in Citi Field where instead of it being 314 to right, it's 335 to right. So some of these home runs that he was hitting last year are flyouts in Citi Field. So he kind of has, and I'm not saying he has to like super, but he has to like adjust to what Citi Field's dimensions are compared to what Yankee Stadium dimensions are. So I think that's a factor. I think there's the factor of I got paid the highest contract in North American sports history. I need to live up to that. That's a higher expectation on him. And we've seen him struggle in new places before. When he got traded to San Diego at the 2022 deadline, I want to say.
I forgot about that.
He was traded to San Diego. In his first 52 games with the Padres, he slashed 236, 338, 390 with 6 home runs, 16 RBIs, and a 127 OPS plus. Very, very similar to the numbers he has right now. I believe he has, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure what his slash, I'm pulling up right now. Okay, so his slash line is 246, 376, 439, OPS plus of 133, 20 RBIs, 8 home runs, 33 runs, which is actually 10th in the league, which not a lot of people talk about. He's 10th in the league with runs. That's a big thing. So for me, and, people talk about how he didn't slump last year with the Yankees. Well, let's talk about how in August he slashed 222, 353, and 576, all right? He did struggle in August last year. There was a struggle with the Yankees last year. So I think Soto is fine. I think he is happy to be a Met. I think if you don't believe that, you're kind of naive and childish or just a Yankee fan that can't comprehend the fact that you didn't get the big free agent and you have to spin some narrative in your head to make up for it. He'll be fine. And we see Mets in the past do this. Mike Piazza struggled when he first got here. Carlos Beltran struggled when he got here. Francisco Lindor was horrific when he first got here. All right? I think they did the other day on Monday. They did Lindor 2021 season and Soto. Soto's WRC plus was, I think, 134 through his first whatever many games he's played with the Mets. Lindor's was 61. Lindor was having a far worse season his first year in New York and has completely turned it around. So Juan Soto will be fine. This whole thing comes from the fact that he hasn't hit with runners in scoring position. He hasn't had that clutch moment yet, and the Mets lost 2 or 3 to the Yankees. That's where this whole narrative comes from. If the Mets win 2 or 3 against the Yankees, none of this happens.
I guarantee you, once he hits a walk-off home run, everything's like, oh my God.
He needs that Mets moment. The Mets moment is what he needs. He needs that big moment. Like, oh, yes, now he's us. Now he's one of us.
Yes. And that moment will come sooner than we think.
It's coming.
So, yeah. So, otherwise, we can erase this weekend series out the way.
Exactly. Does it suck that we lost the Yankees? 100%.
Heck yeah.
It sucks we lost the Yankees. You could be mad at Soto it's funny. You could be mad at Soto for not hustling and be mad at the fact that the Mets lost, while also acknowledging the fact that it's one game. I think they will be fine. They both will be fine. And that's what I think is lost with some Mets fans. Some Mets fans like, oh, we lost the series. We're done. Soto's a bust. Like, no, guys, no, it's okay. We will be fine.
It's gonna be good.
It's
long season ahead.
It's a long season ahead. We weren't good till June last year. I don't get how people can watch the 2024 Mets and think this Mets team is bad.
No, it's gonna be a long season. So we only in May. Season doesn't end until early September. No, late September. No, early September.
I say after trade deadlines when things get real.
Sure it does. So.
Actually, after the All-Star break, because I think that's when you kind of know. I think the All-Star break is when teams kind of go like, all right, we're buying and then we're going to sell. It's kind of where we get the break.
There you go. So, all righty. We go from the baseball field to our post-game segment. So we're going back onto the basketball court. Before we get to these scandals surrounding us, current WNBA
I didn't hear about
Sophie
this until you said
I'm excited to tell you, my friend. I tell you. So before we get into the whole Sophie Cunningham stuff and the situation with the Suns Suns CEO, I should say, I do want to cover a few things real quick. NBA playoffs, conference finals are all set.
Bing
Thunder,
bong.
Timberwolves, yeah, bing bong. Thunder, Timberwolves in the West, Knicks, Pacers in the East. Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals will be taking place today on the 20th of May. Which the 21st was when.
I want to say, like, I understand why the Western Conference Finals is going first, because, like, Game 7 was supposed to be last night for Knicks Celtics. But when you knew both Eastern Conference teams had clinched and only the West remaining, you can't flip it. You can't go, okay, the East is now going to play on Tuesday, and we'll move the West back one day.
To give OKC kind of an extra
Give OKC that breather. Like,
punch them. Screw it.
It's such a quick turnaround, and like you can't with like scheduling stuff and like people bought tickets and all that stuff. But I'm like, it happened like so far in advance, like you can't do a quick switch.
I don't care, because you know what? It's OKC's fault they couldn't take care of Denver earlier. That's all.
They took care of Denver, all right.
Yeah, in 7 games. It took them that long.
Hey, it took a miracle in Game 1 and a rough Game 3. After that, it was OKC series.
Yeah, that's on the Thunder's fault, man. They couldn't get the job done earlier, like the Knicks and Pacers did for their respective games. So that's on them. Sorry. Hey, Minnesota got the job done. Man, I'm just saying they got the job done earlier than normal. So, but I get what you're saying though. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But real quick thoughts on both series and predictions for both the West and the East.
I think it's going to be 2 great series. I think Knicks Pacers is going to be a physical reminder of the 90s. I think Knicks are a team of destiny. I think they make up for it. Give me Knicks in 6 for the East.
I agree.
And I think the Thunder are the best team to go up against the Wolves. Give me Thunder in 6.
Okay. I'm going to go Wolves in 6 and Knicks in 7. It's going to be both of these are going to be great to watch. They're both going to go longer than 4 games for sure. There's going to be no sweeps whatsoever.
No.
And I don't think a gentleman's sweep is going to happen either. All 4 teams are just too good.
The only way it would happen if it's like the Thunder, the Wolves magic kind of disappears.
Yeah, barring some like injuries or unexpected slumps or whatnot. Both series are going to go at least 6-7 games. I think they're just too good. Minnesota's been great. And company have taken out 2, future Hall of Famers in Curry and LeBron throughout their run this year. That just speaks volumes to who Minnesota is as a team.
They're a great team.
The supporting cast is great. I like I mentioned when they were playing the Lakers, I'm like, if the Wolves are going to succeed against the Lakers and in the playoffs, the supporting cast needs to step up. And we've seen guys like Julius Randle, Jaden McDaniels, the veteran leadership of Mike Conley, and Rudy Gobert playing really well too. Those guys have stepped. Dante DiVincenzo stepping up as well off the bench. Those guys have played extremely well, and then now they're facing an OKC team that is also filled with full of depth. But the thing is, I think the main concern for me is can Jalen Williams, I should say, bounce back from what was sort of a rough series for him and help Shea out, because Shea is great. He's gonna put up. He's a consistent 30-point scorer, no doubt about it. But the supporting cast does need to step up if OKC is going to make it to the finals, and against a tough Minnesota team that is they're a pretty good defensive team as well, I should say. We'll see what happens for sure.
Yeah.
In the East, Pacers, Knicks. I mean, two teams with also a super. Well, I would say Halliburton's a superstar, but he's a great first
I think
option.
Halliburton's ascending. I think Halliburton could ascend to a superstar.
Oh, he's ascending
if he does
for
well
sure
this season.
Yeah. But I'm choosing the Knicks because Brunson's more of a 1A type of star than Halliburton is at this time.
Brunson's fourth quarter numbers are like MJ like.
He's
like
clutch,
that's how good.
man.
That's how clutch he's been for the Knicks.
He's a clutch dude, man. And Cat, as long as Cat does his thing and all that stuff, have that 1-2 punch with Brunson, I think the Knicks should get the job done against the Pacers. You good?
Water.
Cool. Water. I get you, buddy. No worries. Take your time. But yeah, depending on how things go.
We're back.
All right, cool. All good.
That was quick. Don't you hate that when water goes on the wrong pipe?
I know. It's like you just trying. I remember one time in my college. So by the way, Knicks in 7, Wolves in 6.
So the Cat trade, the winner gets decided that finals.
Yes, sir, it does. So yeah, that's I mean, now that I just thought of it, it's sort of like a storybook type of ending to the season. So, between having the team that traded Cat versus the team that has Cat now.
Yeah,
that'd be a good storyline for the finals. But yeah, one time I was in a class in college. It was some sociology class.
Oh God!
I know what it was. It was marriage and family relations. Don't ask me why I signed up for that class.
That sounds horrible.
I don't know why I signed up for that class. But basically, I was drinking some water. It was during. So the professor was really strict. She was like, "Y'all better not talk, or else I'm gonna send you out." I was like, "Oh yeah, whatever." Like, sure. I think it was like there's some presentations type stuff. Darn it. And I was drinking some water, and I drank the water and I put the water down and I started like you were just doing right now. You were like sort of trying to like control your cough or try to prevent yourself from coughing. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to like hold my breath to or like close my mouth and try to put my mouth under my shirt to like not make the count, have the cough be heard. But I was really choking and dying and I couldn't breathe. So I think it was for like a good minute or so. I was trying to hold my cough in, and there was a girl next to me, and she's like, "You good?" I was like shaking my head no, so I was trying to like cough and stuff.
I've been like, I wasn't shaking, but like pointing to the water immediately, like I'm not good, but like I'm fine, but like not at this moment.
Like I can't, like I literally could not breathe, and I guess after some time I had to let the cough out, and the professor's like, "What's going on back there?" And then the girl was like, "He's coughing, like he can't breathe." And so I had to like let the cough out real quick, and I had to apologize to the professor. I mean, she was understanding afterwards.
Sorry, I watered down the wrong pipe.
Exactly. I was just like scared. I was like, bro, she told all of us to shut up. Like I better like keep this cough.
I feel like in that situation, it's like, all right, he literally can't control the water going.
Exactly. Like, bro, like I'm dying. Like you better not send me to the dang right, to kick me out of class, I guess.
Yeah, they can't send you anywhere. There's no principal's office.
I was gonna say principal's office. I'm like, this is college, not freaking high school, Nate. Come on. But yeah,
wait a minute, go back to my dorm room. Okay, bye.
Like, great. Like I ain't complaining. Shoot. Also, let's see what else. Oh, Caitlin Clark, in the Fever took care of business. My goodness, in their opening game against Angel Reese in the Chicago Sky.
What a flop.
Well, what a flop, I tell you. Hey, that's a basketball play, I tell you, by Caitlin Clark. Hey, I don't blame her. She said either give Reese the easy 2 points or take the foul, and she took the foul, and screw it. That is fine by me. But more importantly, Caitlin Clark finished with 20, 10, and 10 in the opening game of the season. She is now third all-time in triple-doubles, on only her second year in the league. Props to her.
And the WNBA should be everything they can to make sure she stays around.
She is a super freaking star, no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
And real quick, Jose Alvarado was suspended 80 games for the field. Yeah. Are they screwed?
They might be. That's their best reliever. Or one of their better relievers. We talked about it a lot. And I have an article up on Rising Apple right now about it. Jose Alvarado had like a 2.70 ERA, kind of in a Phillies bullpen, which is 8th worst in the league. You take out him, if you cannot replace him, they're done. Because what was the Phillies' biggest weakness last year?
Bullpen.
The bullpen. The entire series with the Mets, it was literally Mets fans just like, wait till we get to the bullpen, we'll be fine. And for 4 games, actually 5 games, all 5 games, we got to the bullpen and we forced them to give multiple runs.
Once he got past Wheeler or Nola or
exactly,
whoever
we were sitting pretty. It's like, all right, the starter's out. Let's go.
We can finally.
What it was.
We can finally wreak havoc now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's apparently he took Ozempic, but
he got suspended for Ozempic.
Yeah, violated the PED policy. He can't come back.
Part of the Ozempic commercial for like when it's like the voice saying all the side effects, like don't take if you're a Major League Baseball player.
Or else you'll get suspended.
Don't take if you're pregnant or playing Major League Baseball. Side effects may include
suspension. He will be eligible to return on August 19th against the Seattle Mariners, but he is ineligible for the postseason.
That's big too.
He can come back into the Phillies, who are expected to make the postseason. They will be without him. So we'll see what happens once August comes around and he does bounce back. Because if you're only gonna have him for like 3 weeks, you better use the fudge out of him. And then be like, all right, buddy, thank you for your service. We'll see you next season.
You are gonna pitch until your arm falls off your body.
This is what you get because you could be here for the long run, but no, you decided to take freaking Ozempic and ruin everything. But okay, so I love this story. All right, we usually don't talk WNBA. We will, I promise, we will with the season going on. And Caitlin Clark's a superstar, and there's other women making their names.
Paige Beckers had a huge game last night.
Paige Beckers, yes, she did. I think she had 18 points for the Dallas Wings. I think 18 points, 8 assists. So
man, her and Cooper Flagg are gonna the two young stars.
Two young stars in Dallas who are gonna get traded in 5 years.
I was gonna say, then Nico. I mean, like, if you are like any team in the NBA, you at least give Nico a call, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. No. Like, hey,
you trade Cooper Flagg?
Number 1 pick, but we got a defensive mastermind.
I was gonna say, like, if you're the Thunder, like, hey, we got Alex Caruso here. That's your defensive guy right there.
Yeah, like you said, defensive championships, he can play defense. He locked up Jokic in Game 7. No, he can do. Hey, tell me, he can do it for you too, Nico.
Give
us number 1 overall pick, and we will send you Caruso and
Cooper Flagg with Shai and Chet. With Shai and Chet is absolutely absurd.
And I now I think about it, OKC is loaded with picks.
Yes, they can. If there's a team to do it, it's them.
They can do it. I mean, we'll get your first round pick this year. They can do some. They can do an NFL type of draft.
They can do a Herschel Walker trade and be fine.
10. Oh, of course.
And still have like 10 first-round picks. And I know the draft doesn't really mean much in the NBA, but
yeah, they got a plethora of them. If Dallas is willing, I'm just saying that might as well. So obviously, when you think of the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark is a player that obviously is the first thing that comes to mind. She is a superstar. She is great. All that good stuff. There's another Indiana Fever player who's gaining some traction in the sports world, and her name is Sophie Cunningham. So, apparently, Miss Cunningham recently has been gathered in headlines for having an affair with Suns CEO Josh Bartelstein. Here's what we know. A lawsuit was filed by former Suns Director of Security, Gene Traylor. He's mentioned multiple things in this lawsuit: racial discrimination, security failures. Okay, that stuff is bad. And he also mentioned a scandal between Suns and Merucry CEO Josh Bartelstein and Sophie Cunningham. For those of you who don't know, Cunningham was a former player of the Phoenix Mercury. Cornelius Craig, who's the VP of Security, said Bartelstein is
Cornelius
Cunningham.
Craig?
That's his name. He said that Bartelstein.
How old is this guy?
I have no clue. I'm pretty sure he's
UConn Cornelius. There's gold. Guy from Rudolph.
So apparently, what the fudge?
What, you know Yukon Cornelius?
Oh no.
You don't know who Yukon Cornelius is?
No.
You didn't watch the Clay Rudolph growing up?
No.
Whoa. Hang on. This is not about so you didn't watch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer growing up on CBS around Christmas time.
I did, but I never who's Cornelius?
The prospector guy.
Who the heck is that?
The guy who wants gold. He leads Rudolph and Herbie to the Island of Misfit Toys. You got the dogs on the sled. Big beard. Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
This is taking a dramatic turn.
This is terrible.
I'm gonna have to add Rudolph to the list.
No, I watched Rudolph. I
clearly haven't.
Okay. Look, I'll look it up. I'll look it up.
I'm doing it right now.
Okay, bet. If you can,
yes,
we'll share
we're already well past that. This guy, him. He's like a main character.
Okay. Well, if I had, well, now that I saw the picture, then it makes sense. Thank you, by the way. I appreciate it for sure. I see. I'm telling you, I know I watched it. I literally I watch it every Christmas when I was a kid.
It's a classic.
It's a classic. But thank you. Anyways,
let's get back on track here because we almost had a connection.
throw me off. Okay, so basically, so Cornelius Craig, who's the VP of security, said Bartlestein is effing Cunningham. Yeah, like that type of effing.
You can't, no, you can't be named Cornelius and talk like that. You have to talk like a proper person.
That's what in the lawsuit. That exactly what the quote is.
Does he go by Cornelius? There's gotta be a nickname for this dude.
No, I mean, nope. It's literally just Cornelius apparently.
Neil. Actually, that makes sense. Okay, this guy's name is Neil. Go by Neil. Don't go by Cornelius. Go by Neil. Be a normal person.
And the lawsuit, his name was Cornelius. I'm going with it. But Trailer, the former director of security brought this this stuff to Bartlestein directly, and he begged leadership to step in, but nothing happened. So Cunningham spent 6 seasons with the Merucry, who are owned by the same group as the Suns, which is by Bartlestein, since April of 2023. Weirdly enough, Cunningham was traded from the Merucry to the Fever this month before the season started. Bartlestein, by the way, he's married. He still is married to his wife, which is Sydney Cox. And they got married when? In 2023. There have been no statements or lawsuits from Sophie or Josh Sophie or Josh at this time. To be clear, this lawsuit does not prove anything that an affair actually happened, but all this stuff, all legal stuff with receipts, and it actually kind of speaks more to what could be possibly going on in the Suns organization. The lawsuit also accuses the Suns the Merucry of ignoring serious safety issues, which includes before what happened with Brittany Griner was harassed at the airport. But the real headline here is the Cunningham Bartlestein situation, and the timing of the trade.
It's interesting
to say the least, and for a team CEO and a former player of the organization to have been effing during their time there. Okay. Besides from the Cornelius stuff, what did you take away from all of this?
This is a crazy situation that I feel like you could write it off if she was still with the Merucry, but the fact that she was traded this month to the Fever and kind of came out of nowhere kind of makes me want to believe that everything she said was kind of true. Again, innocent until proven guilty, but not a good look.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff when your VP security is like, oh, the CEO is effing a player. Oh, my God. No. Hey.
I get it. I understand why.
When you got money and you have power,
I just say I don't agree with cheating on your wife. I think cheating on your significant other is the absolute worst thing you can do. It is 100% worst thing you could do. If this guy was to leave his wife and had the opportunity to, be with Sophie Cunningham, I understand why he wants to.
I will second
What's
that.
the most PC way of saying that I think this guy's a scumbag, but I also see why he did it?
Yeah, I mean, nah. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Sophie Cunningham's hot. I'm just gonna straight up say she's hot.
Sure.
She's a very attractive person.
Yeah, great. Like, yeah, sure. Well, if you're committed to someone, you're committed. If you're cheating, you're trash.
If he wanted to pursue something with Sophie Cunningham, he should have.
You should cut it off.
You shouldn't, because you should be with your wife. That's the person you love. I don't care.
And they're still together.
That's the crazy part. The wife should have left him.
Like I said, when you have money and when you have power, usually things go your way. Or usually you get, you stay even when things get a little rough.
Yeah, you stay. So, no, you should never cheat on your wife. And if Sophie Cunningham's temptation is enough for you to leave your wife, maybe you should have that conversation of maybe you and your wife are not perfect together.
And to Sydney, who's the wife of the CEO
we're on your side. We feel bad.
We feel bad for you, but if you stick around and you
leave your husband.
But if you forgive him, I see why.
Hey, everyone deserves a second chance, but I also think that cheating is one of the most despicable things you can do. So
yeah, I'm right. It messes up your conscience. So.
Exactly.
All right, but that's the one to get that out of the way. It was a fun story that I wanted to bring up, but that is.
But at the same time, like I see why he did it. Like Sophie Cunningham,
yeah, it makes sense.
If Sophie Cunningham walked in and say, "Hey," I'm like, okay.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how we doing, Sophia?
All righty, so we're gonna shift over from our usual segments to our pickle, our every episode game of pickle, I should say. For those of you who haven't watched us before, pickles where we guess the MLB player of the day, and I think we have to guess it in less than 9 tries. We have a 100% success rate, and you guys can see that in our previous episodes. And we hope to continue that streak right now. So we're going to shift over here and share the screen for you folks watching on YouTube. And let's get going. I do not have the background for the actual 3rd and 10 background. That's literally just for pickle, but I'll fix that for the next show. All right, buddy. Without further ado, let's get started. Who is the first player that we're guessing today? Yeah. Some positive vibes today. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. He either plays in the AL East or he plays in the NL. So, I'm not an outfielder. I'm going to go with the Willie Adames, the SF Giants shortstop. He's Dominican, so I'm not going to guess that guy. I'm going to go ahead and do Brent Rooker. No, he's a right fielder. He's a DH. I'm going to go Brent Rooker from the Oakland Athletics. He is also a right field.
You do Brendan Doyle, center fielder.
I'll go Tyler Soderstrom from the Oakland Athletics.
There you go.
There we go. Let's see. All right. He's a right-handed hitter, and he plays in the NL. Ooh, okay. So it's on you, my friend.
Age is not there.
He's not a U.S. He's not American or Dominican.
Puerto Rican, Japanese, could be Korean. It's not Roki Sasaki. Give me Yamamoto from the Dodgers.
I like that. Yamamoto. Ooh, plays in the West, right-hander, not a Japanese player.
Not a pitcher, not a starter. So
not a starter.
He's either he could be Canadian.
Oh God. I don't really know how many Canadians.
Vinny Pasquantino is Canadian. But he plays for the Royals.
Okay. Let's see. SF Giants.
Tatis is Dominican. Machado's Dominican.
I think.
Ooh, I think I have an idea.
You have an idea? Okay.
Bogarts?
He's not. I thought he's not American.
No. Yeah, I was gonna say he's like.
I'll give you my guess for that one. Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
Screw it.
So he's not a Padre. Okay, interesting.
What does ABW stand for? That's a good question.
I could have sworn he was from Curacao.
Aruba.
Aruba, Jamaica. Great beach song.
It is. We're having cocoa. Okay. All right. So you said 31, 30 or 31, or 33 and 34, or 34. If it's a Rockies player, I'm screwed.
Let's go. Rockies the other day. We got him.
True. I'm gonna go Wilmer Flores.
Wilmer.
It's not Wilmer. Oh, so he's 34 or 31.
Yeah, he's 34 or 31. Okay.
Plays for the Diamondbacks or the Rockies.
Let's think the Rockies. So it's not Tovar, was just Tovar. Doyle is American. He's not a center fielder. Where's Ketel Marte from?
He is Dominican.
Damn. Naylor, no. Shortstop of the Diamondbacks. It could be one of their outfielders. It's probably not one of their outfielders because we got right field.
What about what's his name? Gurriel.
Oh yeah.
He's Cuban.
Yeah, he's Cuban. Fits it. There you go, buddy.
Let's go. Give me that. Don't know why I thought of him.
Hey, doesn't matter. You know
why? It's because too much time spent with Jared from the corner booth. That's why. He's a Diamondbacks fan, so that's why. So, guess I ain't gonna lie. I thought he was a lefty. I ain't gonna lie, but I was like, might as well give it a try. So we got that one. So Lourdes Gurriel is the player of the day, and that will officially wrap up episode 7 of the 3rd and 10 podcast. This was fun. We talked about a lot of stuff today. Talked about Brock Purdy getting paid. Congrats to him. Hopefully he's the answer for the 49ers. So we do have some concerns about him. Of course, if he can actually lead the team despite the if the supporting cast breaks down around him. But we will see here once the season starts in 2025. We talked about Caleb Williams and the drama surrounding him. We talked about how Brent Johnson may be more under the microscope than Williams will be this upcoming year as well. We talked about the Mets. No worries. Juan Soto will bounce back, according to what Brian said.
Don't listen to what the media is saying. They're trying to get clicks.
No, sir. Don't do it. And then finally, we talked about the NBA playoff picture. Go Knicks. Go Wolves for me. Brian picked the Knicks as well, and also the OKC Thunder to move on to the finals. And we talked about the Sophie Cunningham scandal going on with current Suns CEO Josh Bartelstein. So you guys can follow us on social media. You can follow me at Nathan_Nguyen24. You can follow Brian at BrianPG1016. You can follow us on all social media platforms podcast-wise at 3rd and 10 Pod. And you can check out our website, the company website, bellyupsports.com.
Dynasty tight end rankings coming out Thursday at 10 a.m. So be on the lookout for that.
You sure will. But you can follow, you can find all the articles written by not just us, but from other Belly Up writers, and you can find other podcasts as well at bellyupsports.com. And shout out to Belly Up Sports for allowing us to have this show and talk ball with you guys on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So even though it says see you Tuesday, we'll see you actually on Thursday. We got a lot more ball to talk about. But until then, we will see you guys. We'll see you guys. Have a great one. And thank you for all your support. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.